guys, and welcome to season 2 of Craft Talk. I am so excited. Now, if this is your first time watching Craft Talk, this is my series where I craft while talking about mindfulness, personal development, and creativity. You can find out more about me in the series at becomingfab.com. So we're kicking this first episode off with the cute little mini set from Lawn Fawn, Do Not Worry, or Donut Worry. And we're talking about worrying today, something that we all experience from time to time. But first, I feel like we should address exactly what worrying is. So simply put, worrying is our brain's way of trying to protect us from the unknown or from situations that could be dangerous or unpleasant. So with that in mind, it's kind of fruitless to say never worry or stop worrying, because it's something that is innate in us and it's going to happen from time to time. However, when you are worrying to the point where it prevents you from living a satisfying life, that's when you have a problem, and that's what today's tips are going to help you with. So our first tip is, when you find yourself worrying, acknowledge it as just worrying. Plain and simple. So if you're going about your business and you realize that you're in a worry session, just acknowledge it as, that's just worrying. Because worrying does not change a situation. It does not add value to our lives. In fact, it takes away. So acknowledge it as just worrying, and then bring yourself back to the present moment, to what you are doing. Another way to reduce worrying is to keep a gratitude journal. Now, I love to use the GLAD method technique, and there's a video that I will link about that. But basically, all you're doing is listing something that you're grateful for every single day. This allows you to go from a mindset of scarcity into a mindset of abundance, because when we feel like we have an abundant supply of things, we don't worry as much. Tip number 3 is to focus your energy on what you know is right for yourself. Don't make your decisions based on how others will think about you. When we get caught up in trying to keep up these personas or keeping up images, we lose who we really are. And then we worry about when people are going to see us for what we truly are. I like to live by the principle that if I don't know you personally, I don't take anything you say personal. And I'll give you an example. I was at work one day, and it was one of those times when a hairstyle that I was trying to do didn't come out right, and I'm natural, so if you're natural, you know you have those days. And I went to work anyway, and one of the ladies took it upon herself to come school me on maintenance and upkeep. And she goes, you're so young and pretty, you should, go to the hairdresser and stop trying to do your hair yourself. And she's like, people are talking about you today. And I was like, I don't care. I don't care what people say about me, or if they feel my hair is crazy, if they like it, they don't like it. I don't care, because those type of people who would talk behind my back are not adding value to my life. And when I told her that, she was just like, oh, because I knew deep down inside she was probably one of the main ones up there talking. This example brings us right into tip number 4, which is do emotional check-ins so that you can monitor how external factors are influencing the amount of worrying that you do. If you notice that you worry more when you're around a certain group of people or when you are in a certain location, then figure out a way to alter your schedule so that you can remove those triggers out of your life. The last step is for when all else has failed and you've tried to acknowledge it as just worrying, but it still keeps coming back and it's keeping you up at night, and you just need to, I would say, get it out your head. So if this is the case, you want to take out a sheet of paper, draw 3 columns on your paper, and in the first column, I want you to list what you're worrying about. In the second column, I want you to list what's the worst things that would happen if what you're worrying about came to pass. And then in the third column, I want you to list 3 ways that you would deal with it if the worst happened. So for example, let's say job security, because that's big right now. Say you worry about losing your job. You would write that in the first column. In the second column, you would write what's the worst that could happen if you lost your job. So this might be not being able to pay your mortgage or your rent, not being able to afford the clothing or the lifestyle that you usually live, or it could be something as basic as not being able to supply yourself with food. So if that's the case, you'll put it in the second column, and then in the third column you would come up with ways that you would survive if that happened. So if you couldn't afford to pay your rent or your mortgage, then you would come up with a solution. If for me, for example, if I ever got in a situation where I couldn't afford to pay my rent or our mortgage, I would call on family. Hey girl, can I live with you? Hey mom, can I move in the basement? So come up with ways that would be a solution for your worst things that could happen. Doing this activity will give you the comfort of knowing that even if the worst happened, you can survive. Alright guys, that is it for today's craft talk. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to go to my website, becomingfab.com/E201 to download your Worry Less handbook. They include the tips we discussed today, plus 3 more tips to help you worry less.